Hey y'all, it is your girl Alex here coming on with y'all tonight with just some information that I really hope resonates with you, but it's definitely something I know that everyone needs to hear. And I'm not really going to be in much of the chat because I want to get through this. This is really important information. So forgive me, y'all. I'm not gonna be on that real quick because I need to get this out. I've had so much like attack to get this out. I've been like smudging and doing all the things because this information needs to get out, and we have a way to solve it too, which is even better. So y'all, let me know in the chat. Just let me know that you guys can see this. What I'm looking at is a journal, a research journal, specifically qualitative health research. If we want to be specific, here's all the information as to what it is and just all the information about it, right? Because this, if you've talked to me, heard me, anything about me, you know I have stated that what we are seeing is psychological warfare. It is classic textbook brainwashing. Okay, even referred to this having like techniques of Nazis and everything else. Y'all, this is exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to break this down. Before I get into this, y'all, I pray that every single person who is watching this has an open mind and heart, because this is so vital that all of us learn exactly what I am talking about. Because y'all, when we understand the tactics, we understand how to fight it, and we can start waking up to it, and we can start being aware of its existence so we can see it with our own two eyes. But we first have to have that seed planted that it could even be a thing, right? That some of this might just make sense. And I just pray with wherever you're at in your journey, whether someone sent this to you, that I'm not being political. I am here to give this message to help humanity wake the fuck up. I love you all so much. Let's dig in. This is when you are dealing with trafficking, abuse, things of that nature. You don't want to physically assault your victims, right? And use that as a fear-mongering technique to keep them scared and submissive and everything else, right? Y'all, what they do is they literally I call it mind fucking. Okay, I'm sorry, but it's just the best way to express exactly what it is. And because it does, it destroys every facet of your brain, your thinking process, your logic, everything. It destroys it, especially if it's been done significantly over time and with like, traumatic events associated with it, right? This particular study looked at 12 adult women who were trafficked in Los Angeles County for domestic work, okay? That's who their demographic was when they were doing this study and validating this research method, that they were able to identify how the individual got them to do this, right? What was the process? Because you didn't beat or physically harm the individual, you destroyed their mind. How did you get them to willingly, key to consent, willingly do what you wanted to do when it was directly harming their bodies and you were getting paid for it and they were being mistreated for it? How did you get them there? Let me show you. It's just like what we're seeing today, y'all. And anything like the links and stuff I'm talking about, y'all, everything, you know me, it's always in my description. Go down. I have a bunch of stuff because like this, y'all, you need to get this book. It's called Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper. And I was introduced to that book last year and just, wow. Titles in the description. You need to read it. Every single person. I don't care where you're at in your journey. You need to read this. Published in 1994. Keep that in mind, okay? Anyways, first aspect of this, right? So when I am going through this, y'all, what I want you to do is I want you to take the term trafficker, abusive, anything like that. I want you to replace that with government, mainstream news media, and all of these, like your local people, right? Like city council. I'm fighting, literally, I was told today there's 4 of my 7 city council. I'm thinking 8 because of the mayor, but 7 city council, 4 of them feel just as intensely as I do for them to not be a thing, for them to be a thing. That's a problem. All right. And so even those people who are instilling this information and coming from a brainwashed standpoint, just like the guards and all of the people who were the little minions for Hitler, that's them, okay? And this is how we get to the root and identify the root of it. So I want you to plug this stuff in, because it's important we start seeing how these impacts have, or the impacts from all of these external sources who are working collaboratively together to silence humanity so that we do not ascend, unite, and grow together and stand up for ourselves as sovereign beings, y'all. They don't want us to know this. They don't want you to put this together. So think of it as them working collaboratively together as a team to instill the very first one. Remember when the C-19 started? Isolation. Deprives the victim of all social support. How many suicides have we seen? Overdoses, people who have addiction issues, how they all are relapsing, right? What happens when you deprive them? You start killing people off because you push the vulnerable to their breaking point. For those that survive, the victim develops an intense concern with self. Oh, keep your muzzle on, right? Keep it on because you're going to keep grandma safe. Someone literally sent me I want to say it was California, but I'm not certain. Don't quote me on that. It was literally an advertisement, commercial on the TV. And it was talking about, make sure you do your part. Do your part to wear your mask everywhere. Wash your hands. Stay 6 feet away. Don't go near nobody. Stay 6 feet away. Don't engage in any natural humanistic need for connection because you're going to kill grandma. That was the commercial. Do your part so that you don't kill grandma. And I was just like, oh, we really got here. Like, just, wow. What are they doing? They are making you concerned with yourself. Do your part. Mask up, get the vaccine. That is completely experimental. And the last time, y'all, if you think about it, go back in history a little bit. The last time we had medical experimentation without proper informed consent was during the time that what was his name? I'm thinking like the angel of death. That's what they called him. The Nazi doctor, totally just blanked out his name. Let me know in the chat because I totally just brain farted. Him, the angel of death doctor, doing genetic experiments, which it is gene therapy. Have you thought about that? Genetic, that is considered a therapy. So it's not even a vaccine, that one. So why is it being mandated again? And if you go back into it, writing the code of our DNA sequences, how it's all intertwining into it, literally, they flagrantly admit it changes the DNA code. Well, that sounds pretty frightening. You're trying to change the very core of my genetic being. That's not how this is supposed to work. It's supposed to create immune responses, different things like that. You don't mess with the DNA. Yeah, and during Auschwitz, but there's a specific doctor's name, I totally blanked on it. Victim becomes dependent on trafficker, abusive boss. Well, now that you can't work because you're going to kill grandma, should you dare even try to live and have a life and be able to go to work to support your family? Oh, no. We're going to send you home and we're going to give you stimulus checks. Yay, everybody do your part. Stimulus, woo woo. You mean while sacrificing your complete mental, physical, overall well-being and ability to live on your own independently as a sovereign being, able to function and provide for your own damn self without the government? Interesting, right? Oh, monopolization of perception is the next one, y'all. Can you think of a few people who might be censored who are trying to speak out? Right? Wear your muzzle, do your part. Cut your voice off too while you're at it. Yeah, make you feel so subconsciously insecure to speak out and step into your own. Have you ever heard of the ASH experiment? It's spelled ASCH. Search it. Look for the videos about it. Because it talks about doing how the impact of the immediate perception of those you're surrounded with, how you feel, okay, when you're outwardly expressing matters when you're in a group of people versus if you're just quietly keeping your thoughts to yourself. It was insane the amount of evidence that people, because they're in an outward spoken place, well, you know what, y'all? They've been trying to destroy that. They've been trying to destroy and make every one of us who are speaking out feel crazy or insane or try to censor us, because you know what they're doing? They're fixing their victims' attention on the immediate predicament. Because while they're censoring everybody who's trying to blow the whistle, they're throwing false flags over where sometimes it's a sacrificial thing. Sometimes it's just, you know, it's fake. And then sometimes like nobody was even there to like play as a crisis actor. Okay. Like that's just how they work. It depends on where it falls and what their agenda is. So it could be traditionally one of three ways. There's a lot of deeper meaning behind this. And so while they're censoring the real truth, they're creating false flags over here with some fake stuff. They're getting your attention fixated on us. Eliminate stimuli competing with those controlled by the trafficker. Keep you shut off, keep you away. Don't let you engage and physically touch. Remember, 6 feet away. Why is it 6? Because the experiment I watched last summer actually said if we wanted the muzzles to work in the way that they want us to think they work, we actually need to be 13 to ideally 16 feet away from each other, not 6. It's an interesting number that they seem to favor. Oh, yes. Now you got this. The frustrates action not consistent with compliance. Oh, you mean like getting chased and screamed and humiliated at Costco? And how you had the, you know, to send people an angry letter, how they violated your whatever, and they sent you the money back. At least they're decent enough to do that. Like, thanks, I'll take my stuff elsewhere. They make it very publicly, emotionally humiliating if you dare step out of compliance. Don't you do it. Stay muzzled, right? Keep your voice shut off. This is my favorite because I literally feel like most of humanity is here. Induced debility and exhaustion. Oh, you mean like that brain fog and that utter and complete, just overwhelming dread and despair? Why is it that all of my professional counseling friends who see adolescents are like 100% of my adolescent caseload is suicidal? Because that's not terrifying. Why is it? Everyone is drained. Everyone has been living in such a heightened state of flight and fight, instinct, survival reactions. Their bodies are drained just the way they want you. So look at the volcano that's erupting. Well, you know what? Do you want to survive or get the jab? Because you can't come to be rescued by an earthquake that rattled the volcano to erupt. Hello, my love. Come here, sweet boy. Come. You come say hi? Come here. Say hi. Yeah. Oh, thank you, sir. So you can't get help. You cannot get off this island as there's a volcano erupting. Was it like 1,100 feet high? I forget how tall it is. 4 miles high? Something like that, right? That is awful. And you know what? I guarantee you those people are just as tired because they also have been dealing with the C-19. So they're weakening you, right? Threats. How many people have been blackmailed? How many people have actually, where that's part of how they do everything is all based on blackmail? Literally, never ends, y'all. So the threats cultivates anxiety and despair, right? So how many people out there are being threatened that if they don't stop, you've got the health department banging down your business door. You've got all of these people who are trying to threaten you to stop with compliance. I saw a video of Canadians literally yelling at the health department to leave, how they were trying to cause a problem because the store was maskless. And they were stepping up. It was so beautiful to watch, right? Because all they want to try to do is sit here and posture up. Y'all, seriously, when it was explained to me that the devil is really like, he's big, that big, right? That big. But he projects to be this big, magnificent, evil thing, right? But when in reality, he's not. So when they make these threats, try to posture up and try to say, you're going to do whatever, cool, I'll take my ticket and I'll see you in court. Play their game, because you know what? You will win, because ultimately they're going to be committing crimes. There's all of these things that they're trying to posture up to try to scare you and cultivate that anxiety and that despair. Well, it's just this overwhelming thing you're never going to get away from. You might as well just accept the new norm, right? Just accept it. It's okay. You're never going to get away from this. Well, yes, we are. Watch, because I have a whole thing at the end too I want to show y'all, because this is super important. Occasional indulgences provides positive motivation for compliance, right? Do y'all remember when the whole Krispy Kreme thing was going on, where they were like, come show us your V card and we'll give you the donuts for an entire calendar year. Yes. And all of the people who were sitting there posting of their selfies, you may get it. Come here. Bring it to me, please. Come here, my love. Good job. So they're posting all their selfies of them with their Krispy Kreme donuts because they got a reward, y'all, for complying. Yeah, that's terrifying. Demonstrating omnipotence. Thank you. Good job, my love. Provides positive, or excuse me, suggests futility of resistance and also hindering adjustment to deprivation. So one of the key things I talk about with my coaches, and it's very true, it's how I manage my life and everything else, is it's small, tangible steps that you can do to start implementing to where you can get to your end goal, right? So, I mean, it can be for the good or for the bad. It's actually a very proven way. Obviously, look at how well it's been working on all of us. And it's how one of the key things my clients do to be able to hack their ability to function. Okay. Degradation. So this is one of the things too, where it makes cost of resistance more damaging to self-esteem than capitulation. So what happens is when you are seeing all of those stores that are having the really bad reviews, where they're like, they're not being masked, and they're just flooding their reviews up with all of these negative reviews and everything else that's causing harm, like physical harm, not physical, but tangible harm to the business establishment, it makes it harder and literally more damaging for them to just accept the whole situation. Just go ahead and comply. Make sure you enforce them, right? What was it? The Peto administration was saying that they weren't going to mandate it federally, but they were going to ensure businesses who chose to do had the proper support. Because that's not terrifying. You're going to support this V mandate of an experimental thing? Yeah, no, thank you. The next one. Enforcing trivial demands. Y'all, one of the things of moving into these positive places in your life, right? You're working through your problems, you're making this steadfast way, right? You're doing the small tangible steps. Well, here's the thing. Those small tangible steps do actually become a habit. It's part of how I help people hack their changes, right? It becomes an actual habit if you stay, committed to it. Well, that's the thing. You become so habitually, like, even I have found myself challenging my own self, like a reaction I'll have, like, of just like, oh, step back. And I'm like, no, but because I'm aware of it, when it happens, I'm like, I can stop myself and say, no, we don't do that. Get closer, push the bounds, because you are having a response to something. You need to love on it even more. That's what I was talking about, y'all, when I said you need to sit here and love on yourself so much through this, because there's going to be people who are watching this that have no idea any of this has been going on, and they are waking up to this experience, and it's going to be intense for some people. Others may not be so much. Either way, love on yourself, have compassion for yourself with where you're at. And Anthony, bring it here, please. Have compassion and love for yourself, y'all, because some of this stuff, if y'all are just starting to wake up to this, it's going to be a lot, and that's okay if that's where you're at. It is completely normal, okay? So don't freak out if that's who is watching this right now. Thank you, my love. Good job. Good job, baby. Right? So when you've developed this compliance behavior where, oh, well, you know what? Literally the language my kid's superintendent used, well, it's only 11 weeks left until school ends, so let's just keep doing a great job. Those words were terrifying, because I know exactly, like, it doesn't take much to look into what a person is trying to say, as they're still staunchly not even having the conversation to remove the mandate and allow it to be optional. Yeah, I cannot wait for next week's board meeting. This is going to be beautiful. I'll let you know how it goes. But these habits of compliance is what is getting everybody into trouble, because then we start getting to the point where we're like, oh, it's just whatever. And that's how they systematically push your boundaries, because you may not be, all the way over here. I'll pick it back up. One of the key things that's causing people to feel that these habits have become normal is because they're not around people. Because so when we are entering into this time where we are trying to stay connected and we're being censored and everyone's being thrown around everywhere, right? Where they don't know where to come next. They're trying to find each other, y'all. They're so much fun. So what we created, y'all, is literally a resource center so that people can actively connect with their local levels, because I see a lot of people who are super motivated. They're starting to see this, or they feel passionate about it, and they are trying to get moving forward and being able to really start moving into a way that they can do something at a local level. Okay, y'all, this is making that connection, because everybody is fragmented. People are so spread out, and they're like, yeah, we've got all these amazing ideas, but because we can't connect, because they've been censoring us and they've been trying to stop us to be able to physically connect. They've made up so many stories and so many things, y'all. And literally, I have resources on here, and yes, all the links are in the description, y'all. I have my muzzle resource. We have the school board lawsuit. I've got people right now who are helping, so you'll be seeing this from, I guarantee by the time you're watching this, if you're watching the recording, it's going to be changed. But we're creating this resource center because this is so important that we learn how to connect with each other and actually get together at a local level. All right, y'all. So the first one we started to do with it, that you'll find in here, is fighting for individual rights everywhere. And so the one that we have people who are doing the school board aspect of it. That's part of what I'm working on, but I'm not spearheading that. We've got someone who is, and she's doing amazing. We've got a bunch of people who are collaborating, trying to different things for rights. Y'all, we literally have legislation hopefully coming up super soon about the Texas school choice, being able to have the federal and state dollars follow the backpack, basically follow the child, go with wherever they're going, right? That's where that legislation is going to be coming up. And they have this in other states too. It's not just Texas. Their links, all that stuff is in the description below, y'all. So we have this stuff going on, and we're connecting with each other, but we're getting to where there's going to be a systematic way for you to go in and find your local area and find the social media pages, finding however it is to connect locally, so that people can actually start doing it, because it literally comes down to your grassroots. It comes down to your city council, y'all. I'm like, how do we vote them out? He was like, I can't really tell you how to do that. And I was like, don't worry, I'll figure it out. He was just like, okay. Bless his heart, the person who spoke with me from Georgetown City Council today. God bless his heart. Because, but those are the people you traditionally don't have to worry about. People who are going to step up and have a conversation with you that is semi-rational. They're usually not the ones you worry about. It's the quiet ones that always perk my ears right away. And I'm like, what you doing? Why you don't want to talk to me? Let's have a conversation, please. Come on. Because when we have a conversation, we can have an exchange of ideas. We might be able to hear things from the other perspective that maybe it does have a movement on our position, maybe it doesn't, but let's have the conversation, right? And so y'all, if you guys have other rights related passions that you are wanting to get into, we need people to spearhead this. We do have a small team already gathered and organized together, and we're all working on it right now, and it's super amazing. I'm so pumped, but we need more people. We need people who are designers, who want to help with the legal aspects of it. If people with administrative tasks, responding to emails, things with our website, our social media platforms, we definitely need a lot of help with that. So if you love social media and you want to give maybe an hour or two, a couple days a week, we would love that. Please, those are the types of things we're looking for, y'all. I do have in the description, there is a link for the newsletter for this specific place, because it's called The Healthy Design. And so what this is it is the healthy design of the new America, right? Of humanity, the new humanity, how we're stepping in, because the resources, we have a bunch of different stuff that we're looking at that are some top tier, the cutting edge. This is what we're talking about. It's the cutting edge technologies in these movements and these things that are going on that directly impact us, y'all. Because yes, while our individual rights have an impact on us, so does our mental and spiritual health. So does our physical wellness and our nutrition, right? We all need to be completely in tune with all of it, because it's all interdimensional and it's all connected. But through censorship, they have done everything they can to break that connection from all of us, y'all. And that's where we're stepping in to help people make that. It's a free resource, always will be. We're in the process of doing the nonprofit stuff here so that we can start doing things like if we need legal assistance, right? It was $400 to serve all the people I needed to serve, right? That's $400. What if someone doesn't have that, right? So fitting in different needs like that, like those are kind of big, we have a bunch for raining and we're starting at square one, right? And we're building up. So everything's under construction right now. Guarantee it'll be changed here shortly because we've got a bunch of us doing all different pieces of all these things. And so you have like your spiritual and mental health, your physical health, and your wellness and your nutrition, right? And so we're going to be having different things up here for resources. I know there's someone who has a passion for keeping up with the latest news. Obviously, we don't have it up yet, but y'all, this is going to be where, like all of those V stories, right? The crime or the injuries, I forget, there's like a hashtag going around. I don't remember what it is, but there is one. And it's just like, it's so heartbreaking, y'all. Like, I'm not even angry. Like, I'm like grieving. Like, it hurts my heart because I'm just like, this is ridiculous. But one of the most important things that I think is so cool is when Mr. T enacted the Emergency Authorization Act, right? It put all of these V's in an emergency use authorization only status, which means people can deny them if they want. Whereas if this had time to, it's time to brew and become a federally mandated one, we couldn't. So whatever things they're trying to push on us, if that is an actuality, which I'm like 1,000% certain it is, not as many people are going to get hurt. And that's the most important thing, y'all, because at the end of the day, what breaks my heart the most, and I know so many people feel the exact same way on the other side, where it's our hearts are just hurting and we want to pray and we want to help and we want to just do whatever we can, because it's so important, y'all, that we look at these things that are proven. You can look this up yourself. Like, this is not me blowing smoke up your tail end, like this is like many pages long. It's got amazing things. You can read through yourself what the different results were, right? And this has been proven so many times over. I cannot tell you how vital it is when a abuser is enacting these key things, right? You can see for yourself. Isolation, monopolization of perception, induced stability and exhaustion, threats, occasional indulgences, demonstrating omnipotence, degradation, and enforcing trivial demands. Y'all, if that doesn't terrify you and wake you up, I pray that something comes into your life that it does, because this is so important. We start to wake up to the tactics that are being used, because people are being so deeply brainwashed, and it's so heartbreaking. And we can help. We got to love on them. We have to pray with them. We have to lift them up, and not in like a, being trampled on like a rug or anything like that. No, do set your healthy boundaries. That's how you have healthy respect for yourself. Do take care of yourself. Do make sure you're doing what you need to do to stay good in the, just being able to properly function, right? The most important thing is taking care of our brains, giving ourselves the ability to critically think without being overly exhausted or deprived of food, things of that nature. That's self-love and care. Make sure you're doing it. That's so important. And most of all, y'all, when you get triggered, take a deep breath. Remember, everyone is on their own journey. And I pray so much that this helps all of you wake up to the tactics that are being used when I say psychological warfare is at hand. I love y'all.